So in this video, we're going to be looking at Module 3, Lesson 6.1, which is actually not in your book. This is going to be a packet to be passed out in class. And what are we looking at today is solving algebra problems or simplifying algebra expressions that have different grouping symbols in them. So right here, you see our three different grouping symbols. One you are very familiar with, and that is our parentheses. And then we're going to look at brackets and also braces. And looking at all of these problems, they may look like you have no idea what to do with them, but they all mean the same exact thing. Anytime you see brackets and braces, you treat them just like you would a parentheses. All this is just a different way to show that we're grouping different items. So this problem, if we were to use order of operations, we would do what's inside the parentheses first and get a 7. You'd multiply that times 2 and get a 14. You can also use the distributive property just like we normally would with parentheses, where you take the 2, distribute it to the 5 and get a 10, plus 2 times 2 will give you 4 and still give you a 14. And even with the braces, you can do what's inside the braces first, just like their parentheses, and then multiply it times 2 and get 14. Again, these are just different ways to group them. It makes it a lot easier if you are dealing with an expression that has, say, 3 or 4 different groups in it. You don't want to have a whole bunch of parentheses, because then it would get confusing where one group ends and one group begins. All those parentheses are going to be quite confusing. So now you can use different grouping symbols to show different groups really, really easily. So one set of parentheses, one set of brackets, one set of braces, you can really tell exactly where those start and begin, and end, I should say. So these are the first two problems in our packet. There is a number 3, but we're just going to look at number 1 and number 2. All they want us to do in here is to place grouping symbols to make these number sentences true. And then they want us to show that we have the answer. So if we look at the first one, basically what we're looking at here is I've got a multiplication problem at the beginning with this 5 times. I've got divided by 3. This part equals 25 is not part of the expression. But I'm looking to see if I was to put, let's say, this stuff in a group. That would mean that whatever this comes out to, I would have to multiply it times 5 to get 25. That means I need to figure out a way to get all of this to become a 5. Now let's see if that's possible. So if I group this section together, if I do 30 minus 5, 30 minus 15, that would give me 15. Then divided by 3 would give me 5. But I wouldn't do that first if I left it the way it is right here. Order of operations says I have to do division first. So I would be doing 15 divided by 3, which would give me 5. And then 30 minus 5 is 25. So I can't do the division first. I got to let somebody know that you need to do the subtraction first. So there, I can go ahead and put this into parentheses. Now, they want me to go ahead and show that this is accurate and equals up to 25. So let's go ahead and do this work. I'm going to go ahead and notice that I have brackets first. So that's like a parentheses. So parentheses comes first in order of operation. Then I have to look inside of those and see if I have other parentheses. And I do. I have a parentheses inside my bracket. So the first thing I need to do is 30 minus 15, which is going to give me 15. Now, that makes the parentheses go away when we do the math inside the parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and cross this stuff out. And I'm just going to copy everything else down that we still haven't eliminated yet. So it's the bracket, divided by 3, this bracket, and the 5 times on the outside. So now, order of operation, I have a bracket. I have to use that as a parentheses. So I need to do 15 divided by 3, which is going to give me 5. This bracket goes away and everything included in it. And then I bring down the times 5, which is going to give me an answer of 25. There is a different way that we could have done this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite what we had here. So this is what we had. We can also look at it this way, where if I was to group all of this together, then I have to get a number that I can divide by 3 to get 25. So the only number that I can divide by 3 and get 25 is I'm trying to get all of this to become 75. So if I was to do this problem the way it's sitting right now, I would do the multiplication first. 5 times 30 is 150. 150 minus 15 is not anywhere close to 75. So obviously that math won't go first. So let's see, what if I do this first? So if I do 30 minus 15 first, that's going to give me 15. That parentheses goes away. I'm left with my bracket, my 5 times, my closing bracket, and then divide it by 3. 5 times 15 is 75, so that bracket goes away. Divide it by 3 gives me 25. So there's different ways that you can group these things together and still come up with the same answer. What I want you to do right now is to go ahead and take a look at problem number 2. You can pause the video, you try it on your own, see if you can figure out how to group this together. Kind of going through the same process we did. You know, if I leave the negative 1 times alone, what is the rest of that going to be? Or if I leave the plus 5 on the end alone, what does the rest have to be to be able to make it negative 9 and see if you can make that work out? So go ahead and pause the video here and go ahead and take a look at that problem. All right, so looking at this problem, I looked at it as if, you know, if I do this, I'll have a plus 5 on the end. So everything inside the bracket would have to equal up to a negative 14. Because negative 14 plus a positive 5 would give me a negative 9. And looking at this problem, if I do the multiplication here, that would make my negative symbol go away. And I wouldn't even have a negative number. So that wouldn't work. If I did negative 6 plus 20, this is the bigger number. My positive symbol would go away. And even if I did 20 divided by 2, that would give me 10 plus a negative 6. Still, my negative symbol goes away. So everything that I could do with those brackets like that, my negative symbol goes away and I can't have that. But if I put the bracket this way, then I only have to get everything in the bracket. My bracket's kind of big over here. The only thing the bracket has to become is a 9. Then I can multiply that times a negative 1 and it gives me a negative 9. So let's see how I can turn this stuff into a 9. Now, first things first, I think I want to get this taken care of, because 20 divided by 2 would give me 10, plus 5 would give me 15. So that might be a way that I can do it right here. And it really doesn't matter whether I subtract or add the negative 6 first, or if I do the positive 5 first. So really I can leave this off and just leave it up to the reader's discretion. So let's see if we work this problem out the way it's sitting right here. 20 divided by 2 is the first problem I have to do. That gives me a 10, so that goes away. This leaves me with a negative 6 plus 10 plus 5. That's inside of brackets. Negative 1 times on the outside. And I could just do this in order the way it is right now with the addition. So negative 6 plus 10 would give me a positive 4. And then 4 plus 5 would give me a 9. So all of that bracket is gone. Took care of that. And then, like we said before, negative 1 times 9 gives me the negative 9 that I'm looking for. So the next problems are the more important ones in this lesson. Problems 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you want to take these one at a time, I would suggest that, if you have the papers with you, go ahead and pause the video, work those 4 problems, and then come back to the video. If you don't have the papers, you can. I'll give you a chance to pause each problem to work it on your own. So go ahead and pause this video before I work it out, and go ahead and see about working this one out. And we're trying to get rid of any and all grouping symbols, and we're trying to get it down to the fewest terms as possible. So pause the video now and work this one. All right, so now to work this problem out, the first thing that we're looking to do is to get rid of any minus signs we have. So I'm going to go ahead and make that minus sign a plus, making that 8 become a negative. And then the next step that I need to do is try to see how to get rid of my parentheses, how to get rid of my grouping symbols. So the first thing I'm going to look and see at is, can I do the math inside the parentheses or inside the bracket or brace? And in this case, I can't add a p to a regular old number. I can only add p's to other p's, and I don't have that. So if I don't have that, then I look off to the left-hand side to see if I have any number out here that I can distribute. And in this case, I don't. I technically have a 1 that I can do, but I want to look at the other side first. And this is divided by 2, which means they want all of this in this bracket to be divided by 2. So maybe a better way to write this would be 4p plus negative 8. And we want to divide all of that by 2. Now, again, we can't add what's in the braces together and then divide by 2. So we have to separate it and do 4p divided by 2 plus negative 8 divided by 2. So 4p divided by 2 would give me 2p's, plus negative 8 divided by 2 would be negative 4. I don't have any like terms here to combine, so this is as simple and as few of terms as I can get this answer. Okay, here's our next problem, number 5. Again, pause the video and go ahead and work it. And now looking at the problem, again, the first thing we're doing is getting rid of minus signs. In front of that 3, that is a negative, not a minus sign, because if it was a minus sign, it had to have a number in front of it. So we're going to go ahead and put a plus here, make that 8 become negative. Now the next step is to look at my parentheses and grouping symbols. I have a brace and a parentheses. Both of them have 1/3 x. There's no math for me to do in there. I can't combine anything. So I have to look at the outside number. So I'm looking at this negative 3. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that. And I'm not going to do any simplifying. I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. So that negative 3 would get a 1 under it. So then we would get a negative 3/3 x right here. And I'm going to simplify it later. And then we get plus negative 8. It's going to just stay there because there's no work to do on that. No parentheses or grouping symbols. And now we're going to take this 4 and we're going to multiply that times 1/3, giving me 4/3 x. Now, the reason why I didn't do simplify this in my head is because I like to do all the steps and show everything, make sure I don't make any mistakes. The more steps you try to do in your head, the more mistakes that are likely. And plus, when I look at this, I have like terms that I can add together. I have these 2 x's. So I'm going to go ahead and put them together. They're already in thirds with common denominators. So there's no extra work for me to have to do here because I didn't simplify them. So if I have 4/3 and I got to subtract this, 4/3 minus 3/3, that's going to give me 1/3. It's going to be positive because the 4 is bigger. So 1/3 x plus a negative 8. And there's nothing else to combine there. So that is our final answer for this problem. And here we have number 6. Again, go ahead and copy this problem down if you don't have it. And pause the video to give yourself a chance to do it. So this problem here, we have 2 minus signs to get rid of. 1 here and 1 here. And we do have some brackets here, but inside the brackets, I want to focus on those set of parentheses. Again, I don't have any like terms inside the parentheses, so I can't do 3x plus negative 12. So I look to the left, look at my 1/3, and start distributing that 1/3. So 1/3 times 3x is going to give me 3/3 x plus 1/3 times negative 12. That's going to give me a negative answer of 12/3. Now this problem's a little bit, got a few more steps. I'm going to go ahead and start scratching things out. I just eliminated this 1/3 and everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and copy down everything that's left. We got this bracket out here with a 2 on the outside. We have a plus negative 4 with a bracket out here. All right, so I can't combine my 2/3 because one's an x and one's just a number. So because I don't have anything combined like that, I'm going to go ahead and simplify these numbers real quick. So 2, open bracket, 3 divided by 3 is going to leave me with 1x plus Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4 plus a negative 4. Now that makes it easier for me to see my like terms. That's going to be that negative 4 plus negative 4. So this is going to become 2 times x plus negative 8. All right, so now I'm trying to get rid of these brackets here. On the inside, I have an x plus negative 8. Can't add that together, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute. We're doing 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 2 times negative 8, which is negative 16. And again, nothing else to combine there. So that is our final answer. And then our last problem, number 7. Again, pause it, try it. And now we're working it. We only have one minus sign here, so turn that into a plus. This becomes a negative 8y. So I have braces, but inside the braces, I have brackets. Looking inside those brackets, I do have like terms. I have a 4y plus a negative 8, and I can combine that. That would be subtracting there. So 8 minus 4 is going to give me a 4. It's going to be negative because the 8 is bigger, so that's negative 4y. That takes care of the brackets. We go ahead and copy down everything else. I have my open brace here. I've got a plus 6 on the outside there. Closing that brace up right here. And don't forget the dividing by 2 part. So now trying to get rid of these braces, I can't do negative 4 plus 6. I don't have a number on the outside. Kind of looks like that problem that we had earlier. The first one that we had. So this problem right here could be better written as getting rid of this divided by 2 here. And writing it like so, and then seeing that I have to do negative 4y divided by 2 plus 6 divided by 2. Negative 4y divided by 2 is negative 2y plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. And there is our final answer for this problem. And that is all we have for lesson 6.1. If you have any questions about anything, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a good one.